Hello and welcome to Zesty Yoga. My name is Jessica, and today I'm going to guide you through a sequence of hip stretches and openers that are some of my favorite to do when I've been sitting for a long period of time or really haven't been active, and so my hips start to feel more closed off or stiff or unforgiving. So we're going to go ahead and get started in our tabletop position, so finding your way there. So hands underneath the shoulders, hips over the knees, and take a moment to press the tops of the feet down into the mat. If the toes are tucked, you can press the toes down into the mat, but we're finding that connection with the earth. So pressing the fingertips down, pressing down through the knuckles, especially down through the thumb side of the hand, and allowing the neck to be that natural extension of the spine that it is. So the gaze is down. And feel your belly start to gently draw in. And your breath to soften. And softening into that breath, allowing it to draw in a little bit deeper. Staying connected to the earth. Strong and solid down into the ground, completely supported. And we'll find one or two cat-cows, just starting to connect movement to the breath. So as you inhale, drop the belly down, feel the tailbone reach up towards the sky, the chest opens. And as you exhale, arch the back. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart. Exhale, arch the back. Inhale, back to a neutral spine. And we're just going to find some hip circles, starting with the right side. So starting to draw circles out in the hip. Trying to find your full range of motion, but staying connected into the belly. So keeping the core involved. And then remembering to switch the direction of those hip circles. Finding that movement, that mobility, which brings fluid into the joint. Softening it, making it a little bit more mobile. And then inhale, extend that leg behind you. Push energy out through the heel. Pull the toes in. Feel strong through that leg. And as you exhale, draw the knee into the chest, round the back. Inhale, kick it back. Push out through the heel. Exhale, draw the knee in. Inhale, kick it back. Exhale, draw it in. And this time we're stepping the foot up in between the hands. And we want that right knee over the ankle, back hip, or the hips over that back knee. So both knees are bent at a 90-degree angle. And we'll lift ourselves up. You can bring yourself up with the hands on that front thigh, or maybe the arms reach up towards the sky, but start to notice into the core here. So feel your tailbone grow heavy. Your lower ribs start to draw in, holding you strong. And as that tailbone grows heavy towards the floor, you should start to feel that stretch out in that left hip flexor. Pressing down into that front foot, down into the back shin. Feeling that connection with the earth. And then we're going to bring the right hand to the hip. Left arm reaches up and over. Find a side stretch. If you want to reach that left hand back behind you a little so it's going more at an angle, if that feels better and you're getting a little deeper of a stretch into that left hip flexor, you can do that. But keep that tailbone heavy, the belly pulling in, and re-extend the arms up, find center. As you exhale, plant the hands down. We're going to walk the hands over to the long edge of the mat, swinging the left foot out behind us, right leg extends out long. So the right foot should be reaching towards the top of the mat. And we inhale, reach it up, finding our gate pose. So again, feel that tailbone tuck, hips should be still straight over that bottom knee. We inhale, find length, and exhale, bring it over to the right. You should start to feel that stretch happening on the inner thigh of that left leg. Not left leg, right leg, the extended leg. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring them back down. We're going to walk the hands back around to the top of the mat, framing that front leg, which is now straight. The toes point up towards the sky. Again, press down into that back shin. Take an inhale, lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, soften down. Feel that push down into that front heel. So you're pressing that front heel into the ground. You're going to start to feel that hamstring stretch. And then as you inhale, bend into that front knee. Soften the hips forward and down. Exhale, straighten the leg. Inhale, bend back in. Exhale, straighten. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And as you exhale, step that foot back, tabletop. And we're going to find it on the other side. So starting with those hip circles in the left hip, just drawing as big a circles as you can, staying connected into that belly, into that core. And then switching out the direction of the circles. And then inhale, send that leg back. Find strength in that leg, pushing out through the heel, pulling in through the toes. As you inhale, feel the belly pull in, the tailbone reach towards the heel, and as you exhale, knee into the chest. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, pull the knee in, and we're stepping the foot up in between the hands. Both knees are at 90 degrees. That back knee, that right knee is directly underneath the hip. And we lift ourselves up, finding our low lunge. And that tailbone starts to grow heavy. Those lower ribs start to hug us in. And as we allow that tailbone to grow heavy, we start to feel that quad stretch opening up into that hip flexor in the right leg. Arms can reach up. You can keep the hands on the hips or on that front leg. Growing tall, soft through the chest or open through the chest. And then left hand onto left hip, right arm reaches up and over. Maybe it starts to reach back at an angle if that feels good. Keep that tailbone heavy, press down into the earth. Inhale, reach it back up. Exhale, hands come down to the inside of the front leg, and we readjust to the side of the mat. Left leg extends out to the top of the mat. Right knee is underneath the hips, and we inhale, lift ourselves up. Again, feel your tailbone grow heavy. Lower ribs pull together, and then exhale. Left hand down onto that left leg, keeping the heart opening up. Feeling that stretch in the left leg and the inner thigh. There's the words. You might still feel it in that right hip flexor. Breathing. Inhale, reach it back up. Exhale, bring the hands down. Walk it back to the top of your mat. And now the hands frame the front leg, which is now straight. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, soften. Growing heavy and soft here, but staying active in the extended legs. So the heel pushes down, the toes pull in. Find a little micro bend in that front leg so it's not locking out. And then as you inhale, bend into that front knee. Don't let the knee come past the ankle. Feel the hips soften forward and down. Exhale, straighten the leg. Inhale, pull it forward. Exhale, straighten. Inhale forward. Exhale. Inhale, bring it forward, and we'll step it back, tabletop. Swing the legs around in front of you. Come to sit. And we're going to leave the legs bent with the feet down on the ground. The hands are going to come behind you. And we're just going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh. And that right knee is going to start to fall away from you. If you want to use the right hand to push it away, you can. But keep that right foot flexed, and the ankle is on the outer side of the left knee. So we're not resting the joint, the ankle, on the leg. And then as you feel the heart lift, notice into the hips. If you're not really feeling anything here, maybe that left foot walks in a little bit closer to you. Maybe that gets you to a place where you want to breathe. Maybe you swing the hips forward and walk the hands back in, gently pressing the heart forward and up. Finding where you need to be, where you feel into that stretch in the right glute, outer hip. And we stay here and breathe for a moment. Using your breath while working into the hips is really important because for one, the hips don't like to be rushed. They like to take their time. You bring them to a place where they're allowed to soften, to open, and then they decide when they want to do that. We don't push it. But also for a lot of us, our hips hold our emotions, like our shoulders or upper back hold our stress. And so keeping the breath soft and even can keep us in a soft and open place, you might say, emotionally and mentally. So if any of those emotions that are being stored in the hips, which are usually heavy hitter emotions, they start to surface, you can just gently breathe into those and kind of keep yourself at a place of calm and equilibrium. We're going to go ahead and let this one go. So if you brought your hips in close, go ahead and swing your hips back out. The foot walks away until you can release the leg back down. And we're going to bend the knees, walk the feet to the outer edges of the mat, and just let the knees fall side to side, feeling that sway out into the hips. Just kind of, again, finding movement. And moistening the hips up, as it were. My sister's favorite word. And we'll bring the knees back up. And we're going to find it on the other side. So left ankle crosses over the right thigh. And again, we're feeling that knee energetically press away from us. We're flexing that left foot, making sure that the knee or the ankle is on the outer side of the right knee. And then as you feel the heart press forward and up, you decide where you need to be with those hips, how close that grounded heel needs to be to you. So maybe the foot hops in a little bit closer, maybe the hips swing a little bit closer to the grounded foot and you walk the hands in, continuing to keep the heart open and breathing into it. And as you're here, you might notice that one side doesn't feel as open or as willing to go to the same depth as another side might have been. And that's completely normal. It's very unusual for both of our sides of the body to be the same as the other. So not forcing, just noticing so you kind of know which side needs a little extra TLC. And then we'll ease our way out of this one so the foot can walk away, the hips can edge away, and then the foot comes back down. And again, separate the feet and the knees fall side to side. And then we're going to lower ourselves all the way down onto our back. It's just rolling down however you'd like to get there. And we're going to plant the feet in a little bit closer to the hips. We're going to allow the shoulder blades to come underneath us, the palms to press down into the earth so the arms are straight. The knees and the feet are both hip distance apart, so they're not opening super wide. And we're going to press down into the feet as we inhale, lift the hips up. And exhale, roll the hips back down. So that was our bridge. And we're going to kind of combine it with another hip lift. So allow the knees to fall apart this time, the soles of the feet to come together. So your pinky toe side of the foot is down on the mat, the big toe side of the foot is up in the air, and the soles of the feet press together. And this is our Supta Baddha Konasana, but from here we're going to press down into the pinky side of the foot as we lift the hips up as high as they want to go. And then exhale, again, roll the spine down, gently lower the hips back to the earth. We're going to set up for our bridge again. So knees point up towards the sky, feet are hip distance apart, and the soles of the feet plant on the earth. Inhale, lift the hips as high as they want to go. Exhale, roll it back down. Again, Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, roll it back down. Bridge, plant the feet. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, roll it down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, lower. Plant the feet, one more bridge. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Supta Baddha Konasana. Last time lifting. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, lower it down. We're going to hold here in this shape for a couple breaths. So the hips are resting on the earth, the soles of the feet together. And we're just allowing the knees to grow heavy and soft. If you're here and you feel a huge tightness or strain in the hip flexors, go ahead and grab pillows or blocks or whatever you need to fill the space between your thighs and the ground or the knees and the ground, providing yourself some support so you take some of that pressure out of the hip flexors. Because if we get to a place where those muscles feel like they're being pulled, they're going to tighten up and hold on, which is not going to give them the freedom to soften and lengthen and stretch, which is what we're looking for. So we want to be able to find a place where we can find softness in those muscles in order to allow them to stretch, to lengthen. And once you're comfortable, 5 slow, deep breaths. Find one more. Deep inhale. Slow exhale out. And of course, you're more than welcome to stay here for a little bit longer if it feels good. Otherwise, gently drawing the knees back together, planting the feet, and then walking the feet apart, back hip distance apart or mat distance apart. And then allow the knees to fall in towards each other. Just a little counter pose. Find a slow, deep breath here. Slow, deep breath out. And when you're ready, being very gentle with yourself. Finding your way up to a seated position. You can cross the legs or extend the legs out in front of you. And as always, we end our practice with that moment of gratitude. So bringing the hands to heart center. And taking a moment to cultivate that feeling of gratitude. Bringing to mind someone or something that you're thankful for. Taking a moment to feel gratitude towards your practice, for the movement that the body was willing to find today, and for the refreshing breath that guided you through. And as always, sending a little gratitude back towards yourself. So out loud or in your mind's eye, simply say, thank you, and add your name. And of course, I wish to thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey until we meet on our mats again. Namaste.